Well, a week ago, we fired Chauncey Billups. Hasn't aged very well. Continue to win. The Blazers now look unbeatable.
It's weird. He's not allowed to play the veterans, and they're playing better basketball. So do we give Chauncey the credit?
Yeah, what's going to happen when those guys come back? Sounds like Ayton, they gave him an injury that nobody's ever heard of. Instead of just saying he's got a hurt finger, we had to do like weird words in an injury report. It's phalanx or something. I don't even know what the word was. He was missing again. Anthony Simons, who nobody will even say what the hell's wrong with. He's just an illness. Yeah. Okay, he's just not playing. All right.
He was talking to Shea, too, on a couple timeouts. Yeah, I mean, they're going to start when they come back.
But the baby Blazers yesterday, I had this because it was kind of the 1 o'clock window was really good in the NFL. The San Francisco-Seattle game was closing down.
I thought both windows were – I thought yesterday was a good day of NFL football.
It was a really good day of NFL football. Kansas City-Buffalo had all the implications, undefeated season, Buffalo, blah, blah, blah. So I was glued to that. I had this on the smaller screen trying to glance over every time that something interesting wasn't happening in football. They got off to a horrible start. They were down by like 15 or 20 right out of the gate, climbed out of the hole. Climbed their hole. They kind of did that, too, in the third quarter.
They did climb a hole.
Climbing into Atlanta's hole and went on outscored them 38-17 in the third, and baby Kobe did it once again. Will the Blazers ever lose another game?
Oh, well, yeah, they're going to lose for sure another
game.
That?
Are we sure about that at this point?
Well, I just posted the poll question. Goodbye, Cooper Flagg, question mark. Yep or no, not yet. Look, are they going to get the one pick? That's a lottery odds, man. That's the bounce of a ping pong ball. They were one away from Wembanyama in a year that they weren't statistically favored to get Wembanyama. They're probably going to hit the over. I would definitely lean the over.
The over-under wasn't that big.
Well, I think it was at 22.5, and then it kept getting bet down. So by the start of the season, it got to 20.5. They're what, 6-8?
They're already at 6 wins.
They got more wins than the Bucks and the Heat. Shout out,
quarter of the way there.
They are. Boy, the wild thing is if they don't make a veteran trade, because I went through this with my brother-in-law. I don't know what team needs Ant. I don't know what team needs Ayton.
Who needs a guard? Who needs a center?
And so, like, if that trade's not there because you're not just going to give it away for free, are you just going to roll with whatever this is? Because this can win 28 games.
It's been a lot of fun seeing Shaden take over games in the fourth quarter.
And that's exactly what I was going to say is, Dirt, this is what you want. You may care a lot about the ping pong balls, and you don't want to lose the odds on getting Cooper Flagg. That's fine. But there's a little bit of a trade-off here where Cooper might be a franchise dude who changes your culture. I would argue your culture is shaping right in front of your eyes. Do you know who the league leader in blocks per 100 possessions in the NBA is?
Kling Kong?
It's Kling Kong. It's not Wemby. It's not Gobert. It's Donovan Clingan. He's averaging 6.8 blocks per 100 possessions. Shaden is doing things that you don't see young Blazer players largely do. Back-to-back 30-point performances. He's closing out games. He's looking the part. There's just going to be a trade-off here. If this is how they're going to play, not win, but play hard and put themselves in contests to potentially win, you're going to have to just ask yourself internally, is it worth the trade-off of building your culture with guys on your roster now?
Or do you pull the plug and sit all these guys with 20 games to go in the regular season?
And I don't believe they're going to do it. Maybe I'll hold on to this for the old takes exposed. I think if this is going to keep being what it is, where they lose a lot, but they win and they surprise some teams, I think that organization may be just saying internally, we can get the 8th pick in the draft, the 4th pick in the draft. You don't know. The Hawks got the 1 and they were 10th.
Yeah.
And we'll just take the best player that fits what we need. The best game yesterday for Denny Avdia, maybe. His pushing of tempo. He set up guys. Rob Williams has so far played like 3 or 4 games. He stayed healthy. I've enjoyed watching this. Banton's a real dude for them off of the bench. Tamani is a bulldog. He's making Lamar Hurd bark on a broadcast, for God's sakes. This is what you want to see from young guys. And any argument against what they've been from the, oh, but I thought we were doing this. No, this has been fun. You know why? Because certain veterans are not playing. That's why this has been fun.
Yeah, I'm worried about what it looks like in the coming days, but we'll get to that when it does happen. Of just what do the lineups look like. Seeing Clingan play more than 20 minutes has been a blast. I know he wasn't perfect yesterday. He's going to have his ups and downs. As a rookie, that's to be expected. But 3 more blocks in 22 minutes. He grabbed 8 rebounds.
3 blocks in a game is remarkable.
Yes, it is, in 22 minutes. Not like he's playing 40. Shaden Sharp going for 30 in back-to-back games. Like, there's just little stuff that I'm worrying about in the back of my head that we'll tackle it when it happens. Of like
Sure.
when Ant is taking late game possession shots instead of Shaden Sharp, that's going to frustrate me when it happens because the whole point of this year is to develop young guys, and that's how it ends up being a successful year. Wins or loss be damned. If Shaden is looking like this, it ends up being a very good year for Portland because I think we have all maintained for the last 2 years, a lot of the attention has gone on Scoot. He was the higher draft pick. He was the guy that we kind of connected to the trading of Dame. Like, there's a lot of eyeballs on Scoot and what he's doing and what he's going to be. The reality for Portland has always been, if you're going to dig out of this sooner rather than later, Shaden Sharp has to be your best player.
You need a wing athletic guy or a big who's kind of generational. It's not largely a point guard.
Point guards don't do it in the NBA unless you're the greatest shooter of all time.
Right.
And you're Steph. Like, that's the only world in which it works. Or Dame, who is an all-time scorer and all-time shooter of the basketball. Shaden was always going to have to be your dude. And so it was a bummer. He gets hurt. He's back a little bit sooner than we expected. And now he's playing awesome basketball. I don't want him to lose any minutes or any opportunities as the season goes on. This whole thing should be built around him if this is the way that he's going to play. It was a really good sign because I had kind of in the back of my mind thought, I've done this now for a couple of games in a row. All right, they're due for one. Shaden's due for a down game. They're due for a down game. They come out in the first quarter. They're outscored 33-21, and you think, all right, this is that game where it's not going to be it. Then they go on, a 19-0 run at one point in the third quarter, and they outscore them by 20, and you look up and you're winning it again. I'm okay losing out on draft status, although my ultimate goal was to get a top 5 pick this year, and they might still end up doing that no matter what their win-loss record is. If this is what Shaden Sharp's going to give you on a not night in and night out basis, I'm not unrealistic, but can you string 3 or 4 of these in a row and then maybe an off night and then do it again? Like, are you going to be in the conversation to be an all-star? If you're putting up 28 points or 27 points per game, that's the massive step you need to see from Shaden Sharp, and 3 or 4 games in from returning, he's showing you that.
I think culture is an important part here. Klingon and Tumani have a toughness to them that I think brings it. Shaden is an under-the-radar developing potential star in the league. You're starting to see some national voices kind of speak up and notice what he is doing. By the way, Donovan Klingon, you mentioned, not his greatest night, 3 blocks.
Yep.
Do you know where 3 blocks would have ranked last year in blocks per game in the NBA?
Pretty damn high.
Second by 0.6. Wemby, who is everybody's de facto depoy for like the next decade, is at 3.6. So if his off nights are
that's a pretty good off night.
He's giving you depoy level defense, setting a tone. He's a little nasty. I love when he wrestles balls away from dudes.
I do too.
Pull that one. This is their schedule going forward. At Oklahoma City, who's going to house them.
Yeah.
And then back-to-back at Houston, who is playing really good basketball. Then at Memphis, and then at Indiana. You may lose your next 5 straight games here, and the world is not ending. But building culture, having an identity, and something to build on while maybe finding your defensive stud and your offensive stud, I'll sign up for the loss of a couple ping pong balls because I still think that can work out for you.
So the Blazers win again yesterday, Sunday matinee. This one was on K2, which greatly appreciated whenever that happens.
Really?
It was a K2 game yesterday.
Damn it, I watched it on the antenna.
Ah, you did?
Yeah.
You put NFL to the little screen?
I put it on my iPad.
Come on,
It was kind of
man.
nice. I had the red zone right there. I had the
on.
big screen with the Blazer game. You know how I do it.
I had a buddy that texted me yesterday. Was like, oh, God, we got to listen to Sprague tomorrow on Baby Kobe after the outcome of that game.
You're the one screaming about this more than I am. You know where I land on Baby Kobe.
32 points yesterday.
Is your friend annoyed at this?
Big time wins.
He doesn't want to see Shaden be good?
I think there's just a lot of people who are still down on the overall the overall Blazers.
You don't like to see the baby Blazers doing this?
That's not me. No, yell at me. I'm
Your
not
friend
the one.
is interesting.
It's not me.
Your young guys are the ones doing this.
He was a pro CJ over Dame guy, so that tells you all you need to know. Yeah. Tells you all you need to know.
Go take a shower.